Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and this evening got quite a packed video as we're going to be having a look at the long-term forecast with the possibility of a heat wave coming up within the next 7 days, but also we'll have a look at precipitation charts and the live radars. We do have some heavy rain over the course of this evening and into tomorrow. We could be seeing some thunderstorms around, especially in the south and the southeast. So do remember, if you join my videos, make sure you do like and subscribe. Do remember to follow me as well on Twitter. The link is in the description. Now, I'm doing my video a little bit earlier this afternoon, as we have the big game this evening, England versus Italy in the Euro, so I want to get this out before then. So I hope everyone enjoys that, and good luck to England, because we all want it to come home, of course. So if we first have a look at the GFS, we'll run through that briefly. And you can see we've got a trough of low pressure that's moving in, and that's bringing a weather front over the course of western and southwestern areas, and we'll have a look at the live radar at the end of the video, but there's quite heavy rain moving in. It will become more fragmented as it moves further east. Could start to impact Wembley this evening, though, for perhaps sort of half-time to the second half of the football, and again, it'll really depend on how much the shower activity does fragment. But over the course of the evening, will be further rain further eastwards. Before tomorrow, that low pressure system is further southwards and eastwards across sort of northern France, and it could be spiralling up some thunderstorms into the southeast. Now, there is a rain warning in force, as it looks as though primarily the issues are going to be torrential rain, quite widespread high rainfall totals, but we could also see some quite significant lightning, as there is some cape around. We'll have a look at that as well in a minute. Beyond that, you can see those lows eventually sort of clear away, and then we see that high pressure build sort of by Thursday, Friday of this week. So 15th, 16th of July, high pressure is going to be taking over with quite warm upper air temperatures, pulling in some southerly winds with southerly airflow, and we could be seeing some very dry conditions over at least a few days before we start to see low pressure trying to push in. But at least for a good few days, we do see a block of quite warm conditions and dry conditions as well. And as we're towards the end of the run, looks like high pressure is going to return. So it does look like at the moment the GFS is definitely favouring high pressure scenario for the UK. It does have a little bit of a breakdown in about 7, 8, 9 days time after a few days of very dry warm conditions, but it does return to that later on in the run. So we just have to keep an eye on how that does develop in the longer term, but it is looking very encouraging. If we also have a look at the GM, now in yesterday's video, the GM was the warmest model we looked at, and it did show some quite exceptional conditions. And again, the run this afternoon is quite hot. So if we do run it through, see that low pressure does slide away before the high pressure does build in with quite a warm air mass. You can see there the 15 degree isotherm does move in, perhaps getting up to maybe high teens, maybe even 19 or 20 degrees at 850 HPA, potentially impacting the southern coastal areas. As you can see, the 20 degree isotherm does start to get into northern France, and can't rule out getting potentially a pocket into southern England, but does look widely the 15 degree isotherm, which does give widespread high 20s. You can see high pressure over the top of the country does give very dry conditions before, as we hit to day 10, we start to see westerly winds come in. We'll turn a little bit more unsettled in the north and the northwest, but further southwards we do hold on to the warmer air, and the high pressure will still be quite dry and hot. If we do have a look at the 850 HPA temperature deviation, we do run it back, you can see how we are perhaps 6-8 degrees above average, maybe even a touch more than that in the north, with those 850 HPA temperatures. So could be seeing around 30 degrees potentially for the highs in many areas with that run. If we have a look at the GFS ensembles, you can see that quite heavy rain tomorrow in the southeast as a result of that low pressure system, potentially a few thunderstorms, of course. Temperatures around average over the next sort of 5 days. Before, towards the end of this coming week, we do see temperatures lift up to around 12 or maybe a little bit higher degrees at 850 HPA for the foreseeable future. Now, there are some precipitation signals, but again, it does look like that GFS operational run, which had that low pressure moving quite swiftly after a few days of heat, is an outlier. You can see there it's this more bold green colour, and it's towards the lower end of the ensembles. Most ensemble members are warmer and quite considerably drier, as well as there are very few rainfall spikes. So it does look like that GFS Operation 1 was a bit of an outlier, and it's looking generally quite warm and dry for the foreseeable future after the next few days. If we have a look at the 2 metre temperatures, you can see tomorrow could be quite a cold day. Depending on exact rain amounts and cloud amounts, as well as if it turns out more showery and there's more sunny outbreaks, it could mean more isolated thunderstorms as will there'll be more surface heating and convection, but at some spots that do miss the heaviest rain, temperatures could get up to 20 degrees or so, but where we see more heavy rain and cloud, temperatures could only get to 14, 15 or 16 degrees. It will really depend on the rainfall amounts tomorrow, so you need to keep an eye on that radar, of course. Beyond that, you can see the temperatures are just on an upwards direction. You can see towards the end of the week, 16, 17 degrees, getting towards the next weekend, 16th, 17th of July, and then towards the next weekend, 18th, 19th of July, average temperatures around 24, 25 degrees, with some ensemble members getting up to 27, 28 or 29 degrees, or a touch higher in the longer term. Now, the ensemble members normally do underdo the temperatures, and it can get locally a bit hotter than that with sort of microclimates and urbanisation. Could get a little bit hotter than that in cities, especially like London, where we see different effects like the Föhn effect, where we see compressed air on the downwind side of a hill. So could be seeing temperatures get up to 30 degrees or so. So if we do have a look now at the GFS, we'll first have a look at temperatures, and then we'll have a look at the GM temperatures, and then we'll have a look at precipitation charts. So tomorrow, potentially only 14 if we go to tomorrow, potentially only 13, 14 degrees in some colder spots, but maybe 18, 19 degrees, maybe even 20 degrees further northwards, so we do see more sunshine. But we'll skip later to the week where we start to see that high pressure building by Wednesday, 23, 24 degrees. By Thursday, maybe again 20 or so degrees, getting into the mid-20s, and then by Friday, potentially again 21, 22 degrees, and then by Saturday, once again, getting into the mid-20s, 25, 26, 27 degrees. As of course, the GFS was on the colder end of the ensemble members, so I have to take it with a pinch of salt, and by Sunday, again, 24, 25 degrees. But the real one I want to have a look at is, again, the GEM, as it will be showing some very interesting temperatures again this evening, this afternoon probably. So if we do run through, see Monday afternoon, maybe in 14, 15, 16 degrees perhaps in the far southeast, where we do see more rain. As we skip ahead to Thursday, see temperatures perhaps 25, 26 in the south, where we do have the warmer upper air temperatures. But by Friday, more widespread heat, perhaps 26, 27 degrees quite widely, perhaps 28 degrees in the far southeast, and even parts of Southern Ireland close to the centre of the high. By Saturday, again, 28 to 29 degrees perhaps in western areas towards, again, the centre of the high. Perhaps a bit cooler in the east, as we probably will have a northeasterly breeze around that high pressure. So it will depend on the exact centre of the high. If we do see a sea breeze, it could keep temperatures a little bit cooler towards the coast. As we head through to Sunday, again, widely 28, 29 degrees. For Monday, again, widespread 29, 30 degrees as those temperatures start to increase further southwards as the high slips southwards, and we see cooler conditions come in from the west. So again, by Tuesday, those very hot conditions, 29, 30 degrees, sort of only going to be in the southeast. But again, it's towards day 10, so it's still these things can change. We'll just have to keep an eye on it, but it does look very encouraging for hot and dry conditions. If we now do run through the precipitation types over the next couple days, just having a look at those thunderstorms tomorrow, you can see the weather front out in the west at the moment. It's going to spread further eastwards, but become more showery over the course of this evening. Before tomorrow, it gets injected by some cape from the south, moving up into eastern areas, and that's where we could see some thunderstorms and some quite lively conditions. You can see in the southeast, we could get battered by quite a lot of rain through Monday. Could be a washout in some regions, and again, could be some quite intense thunderstorms with that torrential rain that does look forecasted. If we do go precipitation accumulations, that's one good thing about the icon run. You can have a look at this. If we do go through to sort of early Tuesday morning, you can see 30 millimeters of rain potentially across the south. In the London area, 25 to 30 mils. But again, could be more than that in isolated locations. If we do see thunderstorms pep up, it could be a little bit more than that. So we just have to keep an eye. But it does show you the risk of some quite heavy rain over the next 48 hours. If we do now have a look at the arpège, you can see the weather front out in the west. It becomes more showery and lighter as it heads into the east before sort of decaying away by getting injected by some energy from the south. And just more showery rain and heavy rain, potentially thunderstorms moving into the southeast, sort of spiraling around that low pressure system before moving away for Tuesday. Again, a few showers potentially on Tuesday, but then things look drier as high pressure builds in. If we now have a look at the UK Met Office run, probably the most high resolution model we're going to be looking at. It does model these things quite well. It's the main model used by the Met Office. Of course, it is their model, so it's used for their weather warnings, their app forecast, and their video forecast as well. So it's a good model to have a look at. You can see the rain moving through this afternoon. Becomes more showery as it heads eastwards and sort of peters out towards around 8 p.m. Sunday. Could be impacting Wembley, so potentially even by kickoff we could be seeing some rain for the game. Then shower activity just remains in the south with that low pressure system before getting injected with some more energy early hours of Monday, and then we sort of see a little bit dry conditions before more thunderstorms and heavy rain breaks out in the southeast. You can see along that sort of southeast area, Kent, across the south coast, although showers will eventually die out as they head inland, it does look like it could be peppered by constant torrential rain throughout the whole day, and there is a yellow warning in force before that rain eventually clears away and things look a bit drier. Again, Tuesday maybe a few showers, but things generally looking a lot drier before high pressure settles in, and by early Friday, no rain on the precipitation charts at all. So very nice looking at that. If we do now have a look at Meteo as there's some interesting conditions we're going to be seeing in the southeast corner tomorrow, which is why there's the potential of some intense thunderstorms. Now, if we have a look at Cape, because there's a bit of Cape in northern Scotland at the moment, and there is a yellow warning in force for some localised rain there. We'll look at that in a minute through this evening, before that Cape eventually dissipates over this evening. Before we see some quite intense Cape take hold in the southeast corner. That's why we could be seeing some intense thunderstorms in the southeast. You see this slither where we do get some quite a lot of Cape. That's where we could be seeing some isolated thunderstorms within the torrential rain, the general area of rain that we're going to be seeing spread up. And that area does eventually peter out as high pressure does start to build in later in the week. If we do have a look at the wind at 10 metres, as there is an increasing chance that we could see a convergence zone as well within that cape. So if we do run through, let's just stop at Monday at midday. You can see there is, if we go back to Monday midday, you can see there is a convergence zone in the London area. You can see where winds collide, winds from the east and winds from the north collide around the London area, heading into parts of Sussex, potentially into Kent as well. That's where we could see a convergence zone. We could see enhanced precipitation along with that area of rain and the Cape. That's where we could see the thunderstorms. So I really have to keep an eye on that through tomorrow and look at the radar. Beyond that, the convergence zone will eventually sort of move away. Again, potentially a convergence zone in the far southeast, across the south coast, and again through the Midlands as well, where we could see enhanced shower activity. And again, along western areas, it does look like a large area of convergence, where we could see more showers. Not quite as much Cape, and not the enhanced precipitation we're going to be seeing in the southeast, so there's no warning in force for that, but it's really in that southeast corner where we could be seeing some quite intense conditions, and we'll just have to keep an eye on the radar tomorrow. So if we now have a look at the live radar, you can see the weather front out in the west heading eastwards. So quite heavy rain within that, but it will start to become more fragment and a little bit lighter as it heads further eastwards, but still quite a lot of heavy rain potentially along the south before we do see enhanced shower activity and thunderstorms in from the southeast. So interesting conditions there, and you can see further northwards where we do have the Cape this evening. We see there are some isolated thunderstorms breaking out. Don't know if there's too much lightning activity within these. Haven't seen any major reports of torrential rain or thunderstorms. But you can see on the radar there are some quite isolated, intense cells breaking out, and then quite widespread heavy rain along with those isolated cells, which is why there is a yellow warning in force. as a result of that cape. And there's a similar scenario we could be seeing tomorrow, where we do see some isolated cells like this break out within that bigger area of rain in the southeast. And that's why it's a yellow warning, because it's the rain that's probably going to be the issue, other than the sort of strong winds and lightning activity that you would see with the thunderstorm warning. It's most likely going to be the rain that's going to be the issue. If we now finally have a look at the UK weather warnings, you see there's a rain warning in northern Scotland. You can see on that radar why we got that very heavy rain over northern Scotland with heavy, possibly thundery showers breaking out, potentially 15 to 20 millimetres, and you can see it's very likely but quite low impact on the impact matrix scale. And you could see that by the radar. Quite isolated thunderstorms, but within large areas of quite heavy showery rain, which is why we've got a rain warning. If we move to tomorrow, you can see the widespread yellow warning in the southeast. So if we have a look at the further details, you can see slow-moving heavy showers with some thunderstorms. So they're thinking generally showers, but there will be some embedded thunderstorms that are likely to break out during Monday afternoon. This may lead to torrential downpours with 20 to 30 millimetres of rain in an hour, and perhaps excess of 60 millimetres in some spots in a few hours. There is also a chance of more persistent heavy rain developing over parts of the southeast during the afternoon or evening. As you saw by those precipitation charts, you can see, especially further towards the coast, you can see the rain doesn't really let up, even though it's generally showery. Constant convection looks like it could be taking place across the southeast corner, and that's why there could be 60 to 90 millimetres breaking out in those few spots. Because it's showery and it can be convection based, it's unlikely at the moment, but could be quite high impacts, as it's just really uncertain where exactly that heaviest rain is going to break out. Some areas will just see some generally heavy rain, potentially 10 to 20 millimetres of rain over the course of the day. Others could see very intense torrential rain for a period of time, intense lightning, big thunderstorms, and could see, again, 60 to 90 millimetres. So really just got to keep an eye on the radar. But if you are in the southeast tomorrow, there is quite a decent chance there's going to be quite a lot of rain around. So just keep an eye on the radar if you are doing anything tomorrow. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Good luck to England this evening, and I hope you all enjoy the game regardless of the outcome. And I'll see you again tomorrow.